Next 5 minutes, you can ask about 3-4 questions. Dr. Jena will be happy to answer.
Good morning. Very nice overview of the NIUS, sir. One question you mentioned about the learning objects, that a lot of private parties approach you, but they have a lack of adequate number of learning objects which are subject based and lead to skill development. I'd be glad if you could elaborate on that, sir.
Yeah, see, when we let us take example of physics or even chemistry, even mathematics also. See, there are when we have to identify the difficult concepts. All concepts are not difficult as far as facilitating learning of the child is concerned. So we have to, if you want to teach a particular topic, or you want to facilitate learning on a particular topic for better understanding, you have to define the objective of that particular topic. Most of us, we fail to do so. If you see in a, suppose for example, I do not know how many of you have gone through the teacher training context. Those who have gone through the teacher training context, we first have to define the objectives of this particular. When we develop the lesson plan, we develop the objective of that particular lesson, and subsequently we elaborate, thinking that at the end what we are going to achieve. So it has to have a linkage between the objective of the lesson and the competencies that we are thinking to develop, which doesn't happen often. Even if I have seen many of the LMS which has been developed, they have not focused on that manner. Identify the difficult content areas, difficult topics, develop, further elaborate it in terms of identifying certain objectives for learning this particular topic, and develop the content material which should facilitate the learning of that particular, achieving those objectives. This is what is basically required. When you have to, means you have to define your objective as vis-a-vis that particular topic. It is not subject, it is the topic, and it has to be the topic based mechanism will have to be developed to achieve that particular objective. Thereby you have to develop certain kind of a mechanism and content inputs through which you are in a position to achieve that objective. That objective has to be essential in the behavioral term. Many of us, when we fail to do that one, because if you see the program learning context, program learning basically focuses on this aspect, making the learning from simple to complex. This is what is basically required, which doesn't happen. In many of our lesson plans, many of our chapters, many of our lessons that we give to the students, we fail to do in that context. Unless more of illustration should be given, more of examples should be given, then only that will make the learning facilitative. Because you should think of that you are creating an independent learner, a learner who is not getting support, but the print or audio or video, whatever you are giving, that is the teacher, that is playing the role of a teacher. This is what is, most of us fail in that direction. Yeah.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the gap with respect to the current capacity of open schools. Do you think PPP can be used to increase enrollment or to bridge that gap? I want to know your views.
In fact, I'll be happy if there are some private open schools comes up. Why it cannot come? There are private open school is available in this country also. Karnataka JSS is a private body which runs the open school in the state of Karnataka. Why we cannot? You have private community colleges, you have private institutions, you have private schools You have unorded schools, but you don't want to have private open schools. Why we should not have even? Why we should not think of? I think yeah, we should welcome Mr. Khuntia, who is the Joint Secretary and looking after the RMSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan in Government of India. I think he will be able to give you also better perspective related to RMSA. Yeah, anything else? Yeah.
So just a follow-up question on the first question here. You mentioned that very often you encounter that learning objects are not of high quality and certainly not related to the content. Could you give us some examples of where you've encountered good quality learning objects, or in your archives, or
I think best thing is that you would just visit. The CIT is doing it. In fact, Central Institute of Education and Technology has been involved in doing this one. If you go to the CIT sites, there are certain learning objects they have defined. You can see that one. There is another site is available, which is, these are all open source even. There is another site, DEPSSA, Distance Education Program of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, which is run by IGNOU. DEPSSA portal, if you go, you will find those things also. The Sakshat portal, if you go, there also you will get some of these examples available there, how they have demonstrated the entire content areas. This information you will get from there. Yeah.
Good morning. This is Muhammad Nazrul Islam, Joint Secretary to the Government of Bangladesh, dealing with teacher training. So my question is on teacher training. Both of the presenters, including the chair, mentioned about the teacher training, lot of information about this. You said that I'm interested to know about a bit more about the teacher training. Is it school-based? You said, sir, you are spending more than 20,000 rupees for training. My understanding is that it is on ICT-related training. So what about the other pedagogical aspects, or is it integrated in the ICT areas? And is it school-based, or what about the teacher training colleges? A bit more about this, please.
In fact, these two are different. ICT training is different from the regular training programs we undertake. Under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, every year teachers are given a training for about 20 days. They're all trained at the state headquarters, the trainers. They go to the district and impart the training program at the district level. These two are totally different programs. Under RMSA also, every year, we train the teachers for about 5 days. That's also at the district level. It is at the district level centralized in the DIETs or the teacher training institutes.
In fact, in addition to this, what I would like to say, that RMSA just has taken off, and teacher training, of course, is a focused area. There is no doubt about it. In fact, we have even at the primary level, elementary level, we have a huge backlog of untrained teachers, something like more than 10 lakhs in the country. And all these teachers cannot be taken away from the school and given the training. We have in India, we have specific teacher training institutes are there, which address to the pedagogical issues, as you said. And it is either if it is a secondary school, then it is 1 year, we call it as BA training, Bachelor's of Education training. And we have, if it is elementary level, then it is 2 years certificate training, we call it as. And in fact, in this country, unfortunate part is we have a large number of private initiative for BA training, but you don't have a private initiative for elementary training. This is what is the unfortunate part, whereas you have a huge number of backlog teachers who are untrained. Many of the states where even, I'm sure that the regulatory body like NCT, they are interested that they are also equally worried that how to remove this backlog of untrained teachers. This aspect is also, since all the private partners are here, we should think about it, how we should upscale the teacher training at the elementary level as well. Though we are concentrating more on secondary teacher training, and then many of the states they say, why don't you allow the BA trained teachers to be recruited at the elementary level, where the BA training is focused for the secondary stage. The pedagogy is different at secondary than at the elementary stage. I think some kind of thinking needs to be done in that aspect as well. In addition to that, what I request, what Dr. Rao has said.
So I've got a question related to what you've just said there. So this is Ranjit Singh from Junior World. Why do you set a level in terms of ICT at elementary and secondary? Why don't you set a level for the teachers that are training now, or the teachers that go and teach teachers? Why do you set an ICT level for them to get to? And why don't you set the level that they've got to achieve and then get the public and private partnerships to set programs up that will enable that to happen?
No, ICT can be used for facilitating the training. ICT per se cannot say that it will leverage the training. It is not like that.
No, I agree with you. I think teachers are communication specialists, and ICT is communication. So, I mean, I totally agree with you on that. I think we shouldn't be trying to teach teachers. The pedagogy should not change just because you're a teacher. You're a good teacher regardless. The key is making ICT transparent. And the way to make ICT transparent is to make sure that the teachers have an understanding of how to use the tools and incorporate them when they're actually delivering the topic, as you talked about.
I fully agree with you that the teacher should be also given his or her capacity also should be built upon how to use ICT in the context of learning, in the context of facilitating the learning. That is more important. But same time also teachers will have to be equipped on the basic pedagogical principle. Can you use ICT for equipping the teacher on basic pedagogical principle? How to do it? This is a big challenge. How to use ICT? Suppose if I want to use a PowerPoint in my classroom, that is all right. Within half an hour, I can tell to the teacher how to use the PowerPoint. But PowerPoint in the context of learning is more important. How to prepare PowerPoint for facilitating learning in the context is more important. This is what is perhaps more of thinking needs to be done, and where more of a concerted effort needs to be done on understanding the basic pedagogical principle by using the ICT.